All right, good morning, everybody.
It's like a perk thing.
Today is Daf Chav Zayin, so we got a little bit into today's Daf. We're going to finish a little bit short, get to the Mishnah, Mitzvah Hashem.
My head's not there anymore.
Namad Beis, not the one on Namad Aleph. So we had yesterday, we were discussing a case, and it was Machlokes as to what the Machlokes was, right? Very typical Gemara. So we had a case of a person made a neder involving multiple people, and then after he made the neder, he had a realization that somebody who he did not want to go ahead and ban.
Our learn today should be for Shlomo Akiva Ariel.
Amen.
Who is he? Is that the one they were saying?
Yeah. So she should have foolish Shlema. So the Gemara discusses the case. So in that case, when he realizes that person, so the question is, what would he have said otherwise? What would he have said otherwise? Rabbi Kiva has a halacha. It's a kevan shemati miktasa hutar kulo. Everything is mutter. So what is he going on? So it's machlokes Rab and Rava as to where Rabbi Kiva comes in, his special halacha where the Rabbanan argue, and we're a case where the Rabbanan would agree that since the person said, hey, had I would have known, I would have blown up I would have said it completely different. So that was that. So says the Gemara, Montana, around, 10 lines on the top, on Chav Zayin Amud Aleph, or around, 20 lines on the bottom, whichever way you want to count. So Montana, Loha, the Tanur Rabbanan. So who is the author who taught this? Brisa. Neder b'chamesh b'nei adam. A person makes a neder from 5 people. Ke'echad, like what? So ke'echad. So he says, okay, you 5 raser. Hutar le'echem mehem, hutar le'kulon. So he says, if one of them are permitted, then all are permitted. So in other words, if you basically would have said, name them, then in this case, hutar le'kulon. Chutz mi'echem mehem. However, had he would have known, he would have said the same exact neder. But he would have said, okay, all of you are usher except for this one. Who mutter v'hein asur. He is mutter and the others are usher. So either Rabbah, if it's according to Rabbah, who says that depending on the type of lashon the person would have used, as if he would have changed the lashon. So either Rabbah, Reisha, Rabbi Kiva. The Reisha is Rabbi Kiva because only Rabbi Kiva says in that case, since he would have kept the huter lecha, huter lekula. The Seifa divrei kol, the Seifa is divrei kol, because over there he would have completely changed the lashon of saying, because in this case, the Seifa we'd say hutar lecha, hutar lekulan according to Rabbah, that everyone would agree in that case. However, either Rava, if it's according to Rabbah, who says depends on Tavas Lashon Rishon or Acharon, right? That was the second opinion. So Seifa Rabbanan, Seifa is the Rabbanan. Another and only the Rabbanan say in this case that that one person is mutter, everybody else is one person is mutter, v'hein asurin. So that would only be according to Rabbanan, because even in that case, Rabbi Kiva would say hutra mekulan, and the Reisha divrei kol, because over there the same lashon still applies, and therefore since that he would be changing it, and therefore since he's changing the lashon according to Rabbah. Therefore, in such a case, everybody would be mutter. Not only Rabbi Kiva, but even the Rabbanan would agree in that case.
When he goes in a series.
So if you check the lashon, Rabbi Kiva agree on
right. According So not only the Rabbanan, but even Rabbi Kiva, that would be divrei kol in the case according to Rava in this brisa. Fine. So that was just explaining the brisa who it goes according to. Sure. Thank you. Nine Mishnah. So the Mishnah says in the middle of Zayin Amud Aleph, Nidrei Einsin, very Geschmack Sugya today. Nidrei Einsin. What is Nidrei Einsin? That was, I believe, the last category of the 4. Nedarim Heidiru Chaveru Shechel Letzlo. So a person says, okay, you got to eat by me. Guy says, okay, all right, maybe. Says, if you don't eat by me, then everything of mine is usher to you. And what happens? V'cholahu, and the guy becomes sick, or shechala beno, or his son becomes sick and he can't travel, or sha'akva nahar, or the river prevented him. It was an eines. Harei elo nidra einsin. This is an example of nidra einsin, and therefore, since there was unforeseen circumstance, therefore the neder is not chal. You don't need to be shel for the neder. The person is mutter to go ahead and get hana. The neder is not chal at all because of this eines. Fine. That was the Mishnah. Zakt Gemara. Oh, Gavra. We mentioned this earlier. Yes, we referenced it. But we referenced this Mishnah. This is where the halach is learning. Now, There was a person, he had an upcoming lawsuit regarding a parcel of land. He had arguments and proof and whatever, so he left I guess some of his documentation, his arguments, the Beit Din. If I don't come within 30 days to argue my case, then I'm going to be mevatel my zechusim, and then I'm giving up my opportunity to go ahead and argue this case. And guess what happened? There was an inus. Whatever happened, he was in the hospital. Whatever it was, he couldn't make it 30 days. Also, and Amar Rav Huna. Now this is me, Rav Huna's halacha. Amar Rav Huna, batel zechuse. He said he was going to give it up if I'm not come back in 30 days. He didn't come back in 30 days. I don't care if inus or not. His batel zechuse. That's it. He lost basically his rights to argue as he stipulated in the beginning. So Amarle Rava says, Rava, on this case, what are you talking about? Einisu, this is an Einis, but Einis Rachmana Patri. We find that the Torah doesn't hold a person responsible for an Einis. The Chsiv, as we find in the Pasuk, it says, so it says over there in the case of when a Nara is violated and it was against her will, so we say over there, and to the Nara, right, to the victim, even though she was involved, right, in the tashmish, nevertheless, she's pater because she was violated, right? It was against her will. Well, you don't do anything, you don't punish her. So you see, a person is not held responsible for a neinus. So why in this case? The person didn't really, know he was going to be in the hospital for 3 weeks and he wasn't able to go to basic. So why is he held responsible?
30 days, but he said he didn't go to the hospital.
He did also, it's a neinus. So why doesn't it? So Rava says, Rav Huda, why isn't it inus? So thank you. So maybe we're talking about that pasuk was only talking about so the Nara, we don't put her to death, we don't kill her, we don't punish her. Maybe by punishing with death is different. So you can't say that. Go tonight. Going to the Mishnah. Look at our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says a person makes an if he invites him over and says, "You don't come over, I'm going to ask you if you can get a hanafari," and then the person's inus happened. He either got sick, or the child got sick, or the river overflowed and they couldn't pass and come over. Hare elu nijay einsin. These are nijay einsin that don't need a heter, because why? There was an inus. We take inus into account. So to over here, right? It's not just a punishment, death penalty punishment thing that we don't hold inus. It's even in the cases of nadarim. So it should be in the case of this case of the person left his zechusim in Beis Din. Yula Rava. Wait, so Rava, you're saying that it does apply? Thank you. So inus always works. What about this case? That's how we learn in the Mishnah. The guy says, "Hey, this is your get coming from right now, today's date. I'm going on a long voyage. I'll be back within the next year. If I don't come back in a year from now, right, then let this be your get now, retroactively now." So then he goes out on his voyage and he got killed, or he died, right? He died. That is a get. Well, what do you mean? Right? The guy died. It was an inus. The guy didn't know he was going to die. Why is that an inus? Why don't you say, well, since it was a get, he didn't plan on it, so it shouldn't be a get. He was planning on coming back within 12 months. Very good, very good. Maybe that case is different. Why is that? Like exactly as Alan said. The whole reason why you want to give her a get is if I don't come back within a year, maybe something happened to me. Maybe he's going on a dangerous trip. He's going out to war, whatever it is, and he doesn't want her. There's no children. He doesn't want her to fall to Yibam, to his brother. Right? He's not a good person. Or Cohen, right? So whatever it was, let me go ahead. Right? Yeah. But in order for her to avoid, right, his brother, who's a terrible person, so the whole point was basically to get her on. She won't be Yibama. She won't fall to Yibum. So therefore, in this case, even more so, he wants it to happen. So that was the whole intent. Alan's pointing out the whole intent really wasn't. So therefore, if an inus happened, but dafka if he doesn't return any deal. So therefore, that's where he's going to get. Okay, so the get. So Einas in the get doesn't work. Well, there's another case. Maishna. What about this that we should learn? I think it was Gimel. Is it Gimel days? The Exubus or Bezos? Yeah. So Maishna mehadamar lei. Eloi seen me kan at plus in Yemen. A guy says, okay, if I don't come back within 30 days, I'm just going to Vegas for a weekend. She's like, no, you're not going to Vegas. He says, okay, I'm going to go to Vegas. If I don't come back within 30 days, then you can divorce me, right? Mikan at plus in Yemen lihavi gita. And also he's coming back, and then all of a sudden Pascal Mavra and the river overflowed, the bridge is out, and he's on the other side, and all he has to do is come to the house, but he's on the other side of the river. Hey, I'm over here. But the rule was 30 days, you got to be on this side of the river, not the other side of the river. It's not, he did not fulfill the stipulation. She is divorced, right? Is not considered like he arrived, he came. So Gemara says, Amai, why do we say that it's a get, and therefore because he didn't fulfill the obligation? It was an inus. It was against his control. The river was out, right? Or excuse me, the bridge was out. So and he's right there. He returns. So inus. So Gemara says, no. Dilma einsa de migla shan. Maybe a common inus is does occur. And therefore, since it's something that should have been taken into account, so therefore it's not considered to be an inus, right? A person should have foreseen it, right? If I know if at 12 o'clock at night, it takes me to drive from my house to Soldier Field, right? It takes me 25 minutes. So if the Bears game is at noon and I leave my house at 11:35, chances are I'm not going to get to Soldier Field in time for a game in 25 minutes, right? Because traffic is common, right? So over here, it was common for the bridge to be out. So since he should have anticipated that and he didn't, therefore it's not exactly something I get that he couldn't have foreseen, and therefore that's the reason why that case is a get. Fine. So we couldn't ask on Rava's pushing. So now we're coming back to Rav Huna. Now Rav Huna was the one who said that if the guy left his all his arguments based in, he says, if I don't come back in 30 days, then then I'll walk away from this deal or whatever it was, this case. And he doesn't come back. Inus happened. We say too bad. Rav Huna michte asmachti. It's an asmachta. Now an asmachta is basically, so it comes to someone to rely on, right? Or someone basically makes a condition, right, that he doesn't really think it's going to happen, right? That's called an asmachta, right? Asmachta, guy says, I'll give you, $1,000 if this happens, because he doesn't really think it's going to happen, right? So that's an asmachta. And asmachta lakani, and it shouldn't go ahead and work. And the person thinks that he's not wrong, he's right. So therefore, he says, okay, I'm going to do this, really not anticipating he's going to do that, right? A lot of people say when it comes to gambling, right? Gambling is asmachta or card playing, right? People think they're going to win, they don't think they're going to lose. Yeah, so everybody's win, right? So asmachta lakani. So over here, when he really said it, he thought he was coming back in 30 days. He never really intended in giving up his rights to the land, right? So why is this not an asmachta? So my answer is haka the mitvasan zuchusa. Since over here, it wasn't just something out of his mouth, but he actually left his stuff with Beis Din, right? They're holding on to his arguments. Since they're holding on to his arguments in Beis Din, it's like he already gave it over. It's like he already did the first step. It wasn't just something out of his mouth, right? It was something that he gave over. Here, you have the schus of my arguments, and therefore, if I don't come back, then I'm leaving them here. So he already did the first step. So when it says, it's not the smachta. But now we did another Mishnah, Misha Parmiktas Chayva. So let's say somebody pays a partial loan, right? So I have a loan document with Alan. I owe him $300 or $400, not anymore, right? I owe $400 and I paid him $100, but there's a note that says I owe Alan $400, right? And Randy is holding on to it. So I pay Alan $100, so I still owe you $300. So the he should just start, and I give the start to a third party. I gave it to Randy. The Omar, and I say, so I told Randy, I said, if I don't pay him the other $300, then just give him the whole document, and he'll be able to collect $400 because the document says $400, right? Normally, a person when he pays, he either marks in the shtar a partial payment or writes a new shtar that says I owe him 300. But in this case, I'm so sure I'm going to pay Alan. So I said, okay, Randy, if I don't give him $300, then just give him the whole shtar, and he'll be able to collect 400 on me. So he gives Mandelanos comes along the time to 30 days and didn't pay. Rabbi Yossi says, you know what? He said it. Okay, Randy, give over the shtar to Alan. Let him collect the 400. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, don't. You can't give it. Why? Because I never really intended. I already paid 100. I only owe 300. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yossi, right? The Omar Asmach the Kanya, right? Because according to Rabbi Yossi, his Osar is Asmach the Kanya. I didn't think I wasn't going to pay. I knew I was going to pay. So therefore, when I said, okay, give Al, you can give him the whole full shtar, you can collect the $400. I never really thought that was going to happen. I didn't think that was going to happen. So therefore, it's an asmachta. And then when it does happen, right, for whatever reason, it does happen. So we don't, says Rav, we don't hold like Rabbi Yossi. Asmachta is like Kanya, right? So there's, so in other words, over here, even though I already put the shtar in a third party's hand, nevertheless, the asmachta like Kanya, we go according to what I initially thought. I never thought they wouldn't have paid it. So therefore, Randy can't give it. So to the case of the Beis Din, Rav Huna, I gave them my arguments. I said, if I don't come back in 30 days, then, okay, just you can throw away my arguments. I didn't really intend to do that. So we see over here, just like in the case, he wants to rule like Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda says you can't go ahead and give the shtar. So to Beis Din, I shouldn't lose my rights. So how could Rav Huda say I lose my rights? In the case of the loan, I didn't lose my rights to the other $100 because we say Randy can't give the shtar. So why should that be any different when Beis Din has my arguments, right? My zchusim, why should they throw that away? Now, in the other case, we don't throw it away. So same thing. So what it says, Shari Hacha, the Amar Livatlan Zechusei. He doesn't say, right, that whether he's giving something away or not, right? Over there, it's not in terms of giving over money or not. He's saying, my zechusim, my arguments are batal. It's not exact case. We're not talking about kinyanim here. This is not a kinyan I'm making. In the other case, Alan is now getting a shtar that says, I owe him $400. He's acquiring that shtar in that case. And over here, I'm not saying the other guy acquires it, I'm giving up. I'm just saying my arguments are batal. So since I'm not acquiring something or giving something to somebody else, it's not a kinyan going on. Therefore, I'm just being mevatel my arguments that you're allowed to do through an asmachta, right? The hilchasa and the halach is asmachta kanya. In such a scenario, not normally we hold asmachta loy kanya, but over here asmachta kanya. There's no onus, so there's no onus, and also v'hu d'economy neighbor based in chasher, and also it's in a chasher basin. There was a person in the Beis Din, he wouldn't say something that he didn't really mean. So therefore, since it's a chasher basin, and since it's something that they're holding on the zechusim, such a case, if no onus happens, therefore, then we'd say the asmachta, we do rely upon what he says, and if he didn't mean it, he never would have said to a chasher Beis Din, and therefore, since he's only saying that my zechusim, my argument, shribatel, therefore, in that case, we say that works, and we'll stop here at the Mishnah. So, Tamam et Hashem, we will continue from here.
See you in a week.
Safe